It's Chef Mark back in the lab. Welcome back, friends. Hopefully, I get some people tuning in and chatting. If you leave a question in the chat, I'm going to respond. That's right. Because I'm here to talk about pasta prep, but I'm also here to talk about whatever you need to know. Dinner ideas. Yeah, I got these 6 things kicking around the refrigerator. What should I make for dinner tonight? I got you back. All right. So, pardon me. I had some spicy salami. Good thing there's not smell-o-vision on YouTube yet. But delicious, but hot. All right. I wanted to jump on and talk about pasta prep, some classical Italian dishes that I'm going to be making tomorrow for my in-home cooking class. My customer tomorrow is a Italian woman, and her family are passionate foodies. She has a brand new Viking kitchen. She's eligible for an in-home cooking class and dinner party with myself. So thank you for your business with Appliance Factory Fine Wines. And she wanted to make sure she had an Italian menu. Now it's interesting to me, I will say this, when I work with, let's say, Italian people who want an Italian menu, I used to think, well, gosh, why wouldn't you try something else? But to them, they are trying something else because it's, well, we want to know how you do Italian food, which is going to be different than how they do it. Because, pardon me, a lot of these countries, Italy being one of them, the food is hyper-regional. You know, so you have a mountain, and on one side of the mountain, they might make a dish one way, and on the other side of the mountain, they might make it a different way. And the reason being is one side of the mountain might be flourishing with rivers, so they have a lot of fish, or they have enough moisture to grow kind of water-intensive plants like tomatoes. And they're growing grass, so they have more beef. On the other side, it might be a little bit more arid, so they're growing corn. They have more pigs and chickens. They have less produce, so the food might tend to be a little earthier. Which is right or wrong? They're both great, you know. So, anyways, you see that in a lot of countries. Pardon me. Not so much here in the United States because, yes, we have regionality. We absolutely 100% do. But, the regions are much bigger, much more grand. You think about barbecue. There's barbecue from one side of the state all the way to the other. They're all a little different. But, you get a plate of ribs, a rib's a rib. And then really it boils down to things like cooking methods and sauces and all those kind of different things. But you really do have some consistency with a lot of these dishes. So that brings me to my pasta. All right, so how do you say this? I've heard this said a million ways. And let me start over there because I have to remind myself it's complicated. How do you say this? Orchetti? Orchette? How about orecchiette? If you want to sound like a pro, that's how you say it. Orecchiette means little ear. Little ear. And this is a pasta that is traditionally served with broccoli rabe, garlic, olive oil, Parmesan cheese, crushed pepper flakes. That's it. So let's check out some of the ingredients I have. I have our pasta. Mise en place here, pasta, pepper flakes. I like the organic ones. I don't know why, but I do like them. My olive oil. I'm going to fill my squeeze bottle before tomorrow. Make sure I have enough of that. Garlic. Whole garlic, of course. Fresh, always. Not stuff in the jar. I find people will use too much of that jar stuff. Do you know that a standard portion of garlic in a restaurant, it's 1 clove, is enough for 2 people in a dish? That's right. So when I see extra garlic, 10, 12 cloves just for me, you're throwing off the balance of the food. And if you're accustomed to that, then you always need more to kind of keep up your demand for garlic, and your taste buds are kind of getting blown out. That's not meant to be an insult to garlic heavy eaters, but pardon me. But it is indeed a way to mask some flavors, and maybe just, you know, it's just it's a one-trick pony if everything tastes like too much like garlic. I've seen people do sauteed garlic with raw garlic on top of that, and then a side of garlic bread. It's too much of a good thing. Shallots, yeah, they're not traditional, so I'm not going to use those. Arugula? Well, yeah, I'm probably going to put some arugula in my pasta. And the reason being is I need that bitterness. You know, I mentioned broccoli rabe being the traditional vegetable, and this is not broccoli rabe. This is long stem broccoli, long stem organic broccoli, organic sweet broccoli. It resembles broccoli rabe. Broccoli rabe is a long, bushy broccoli. It's extremely bitter. You cut off, I don't know, kind of the end, and you pull off all the leaves that are less than fresh, and then you have these long kind of stranules of leaves and little broccoli florets of maybe 5 or 6 per stalk, and then those get blanched. So this is going to be the stand-in. I have a theory, a working theory, that you don't find broccoli rabe in Colorado because it's delicate enough that it doesn't travel right. It can't really make it to Colorado, have a large enough audience, and really be a just, you know, good business practice for the grocery stores. The woman I'm working with yesterday mentioned, I found broccoli rabe at Whole Foods. Where I live and work, which is north of Denver, we don't have a Whole Foods conveniently located. The closest one's actually downtown. Downtown's not that far. I can almost see downtown from here, and it's only a 10-minute drive. Let's face it. But I got to pay for parking. I gotta go inside, and then I'm really led to believe, because I asked her a bunch of questions, this is what they have. They don't have real broccoli rabe. This is, you know, again, it resembles it. I was hoping she would maybe go back to the store and pick some up, but it's too much effort for my customers. So she said it had a long stem with little leaves and big broccoli florets and a couple of little petals. So I think this is what we saw. So it's not worth my my time. It's not that it's not my time's important. Everybody's time is important. But let's face it, 10-minute drive, that's 20 minutes. 10 minutes to park and walk. $5-6 for parking. To go into the store, which is going to take 20 minutes because Whole Foods are crazy busy downtown in Denver. To find, store and product, and then drive all the way home. It's an hour. It's an hour to confirm that this is not the right stuff. So, pardon me. I'm going to blanch this and shock it. I might cut these. I'm going to do that. I'm going to cut these lengthwise after they're blanched and shocked, so that they look more like broccoli rabe. And then when the pasta's done cooking and I'm tossing in the extra virgin olive oil, I'm going to throw a little handful of arugula in there to help with that bitterness. And you might notice I'm missing one very important ingredient: the cooked pasta water. How is that an ingredient? Well, I would argue it is. You know, if you're in a restaurant, you have a pasta machine. They call it a machine. It's just a big thing of boiling water, like a, I don't know, it's like a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a bin, stainless steel. It's got an electric or gas burner at the bottom, and it boils water constantly. Pardon me. And then you might have 6 or 8 little baskets, and there's 2 ways to do this. You have the pasta pre-blanched, and you just dunk in it, and just bring it up in temperature, breaking up the noodles, and then into the sauce in the saute pan. Toss out you go. That's kind of the Olive Garden lower quality restaurant way of doing it. And you know, I've been doing it that way myself. You know, at hotels, restaurants, and country clubs. 4 years, everybody does it that way. It works fine. And then there's the when you're approaching higher end restaurants, and I worked at a place like this, we would actually cook our dry pasta to order. So if you came in and you ordered the gnocchi with the broccoli rabe, we were going to cook your pasta when you order that. So each and every single pot of pasta has fresh dried pasta, and then we would spill it out onto a sheet tray, a little tray. We wouldn't rinse it. We would let it just kind of steam out. We would slightly undercook it, then let it carry over, and then we would finish it in the sauce. So we'd throw it in the saute pan, add a scoop of that pasta water from the pasta machine, and let that finish cooking, and then any of the flavors in the sauce absorb. And then the fascinating thing would happen is these little ridges on the pasta would hold the sauce. So even if the sauce was just olive oil, pasta water, garlic, Parmesan, I mean, that's about as simple as you can get. It sticks. So then when it sits on the plate, and stands up in this little, like, kind of perfect little mound. And then when you hit it with a fork, it, doesn't just, it doesn't, So you could serve pasta on a plate, not in a bowl necessarily. And traditionally pasta, at least where I worked, was always an appetizer. You could order it as an entree, but it was an appetizer course. So if you were going to really eat like the Italians, and this was a northern Italian restaurant that I worked at, you would have maybe a salad. Pardon me. I beg your pardon. You can see I'm not cooking, touching food. So if I might need to wash my hands if I touch some food, but anyways, I'm going to truck on here. Maybe a little bit of a lingering cough from the cold. It was cold out there. Ugh. Anyways, little salad. You might split one salad, a couple bites of that, kind of get the palate woken up. Then you get some pasta, a little thing of racchette with broccoli raw, maybe crush some sausage, some fresh tomato, delicious. And then this particular place had a wood burning oven. Maybe you get a porterhouse or a fish for two, and then you're gonna have maybe some risotto or a couple side dishes, and of course dessert, and then some wine, and then some more wine. It's a really nice evening. So the pasta guy would not only be cooking that fresh pasta or the dry pasta order, but the fresh pasta as well. The interesting thing is fresh pasta only takes 2, 3, 4 minutes to cook, and then dry pasta is more like 10, 12. So it was hard to time, and we're cooking risotto to order as well. If you've ever cooked risotto, it takes, forever, 20 minutes. So I've had to work the station, and it was like playing 2 pipe organs at the same time. I gotta tell you, I would have a flat top, and on that flat top I'd have 5 or 6 pots of risotto going simultaneously, each with their own spoon. We might have 2 different risottos on the menu and 2 different sizes, so 4 different kinds of risotto working. And then we'd have 5 or 6 pastas on the menu, all of those working 2 different sizes. And then, food allergies and stuff. And then with those pastas, we had 2 different cooking times, fresh and dry. And so if you got a table pop up and you had a risotto, a dry pasta, a fresh pasta, and maybe an appetizer that's coming out of, like a fritto misto that's coming out of the deep fryer, or we had a calamari that was coming out of the wood burning oven that only took like 5 minutes. You have to time all that so all the food came up at the same time, because you can't have that high-end fresh food dying in the window. This style of cooking, however, does not really ramp up to how do you do it for 10, 12 people. You cook it, you serve it, you eat it, that's it. It's not the Sunday gravy style of cooking where you've been cooking all day with, you got the bones and the pork and the meatballs and, I've seen chicken wings in there, rib bones, and it's that Sunday gravy, basically deep, hearty marinara, delicious. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about fresh, fast, au minute, last minute, bright flavors, eat immediately. If you let it sit there, it seizes up, and it's not the same experience. So how do you make pasta at home? Let me know. I want to know how you guys are making pasta. The important thing, I still make pasta au minute. One of my favorites would be carbonara, but when you get the raw eggs in there, give it a stir and let the residual heat from the noodles cook that. You got to serve it and eat it right away. And it's funny, when I go home to visit my folks back in Cleveland, my mother, who I will have to admit is not a particularly talented cook. Her idea of good food just means a lot of it and a lot of different varieties of each, but she doesn't really, I don't know, I mean, she cooked for 4 hungry boys, me, my 2 brothers, and my dad, forever. So she was definitely a volume cook and on a very tight budget. My dad being a blue collar factory worker kind of guy. So I can't fault her for that, but she doesn't have that subtlety, So when she makes pasta, she makes a giant pot of it, and then she takes the entire thing, microwaves the entire giant thing of pasta, and then we eat whatever, and then she takes that whole thing and puts it in the fridge, and then takes the whole thing back out the next day, microwaves the entire thing, and then it's like, so by the third or fourth time she's done that, it's just turned into a brick. So I don't like that, but she doesn't like the way I do pasta. She doesn't like the fact that there's no leftovers, and I was going to eat that for the next 3 days. So I'm like, but that's not the recipe, and that's not what a restaurant chef does. So, and I don't know how to make a good carbonara that you can make in large quantities. I've seen it with scrambled eggs and potatoes, but to me that's not a real, you say carbonara, boom, classical combination. That's what I'm going to go with. All right, before we get out of here, I'm going to show you a little tip, pro tip. Oh, I wanted to mention, I've been thinking about doing something. Now, pardon me, I've been live streaming in the afternoons here, 1:30. It's not a great time to live stream. I know people are at work. It's probably not ideal. But what I do see is that when I go back and I look at the live stream, let's say 8 or 10 days later, it gets 20, 30 views, which is not a ton, but I'm proud of that because I'm a new channel, and I got a little spot on the phone right there. Okay, cool. Welcome to live chat. Remember to guard. Oh, cool. Sorry, I'm still learning YouTube. But where was I going with this? Oh, I know. Thank you. I've been doing my live feeds here, and then when I go back maybe a few days later, I notice, I've got 20, 30 views on these live streams, and I appreciate that. Thanks for tuning in. And I know people are watching it because there's some comments that are like deeper into the video. So I'm like, all right, that's rad, So I want to start doing a weekly live stream and maybe a cook along. So I send out via Facebook, Instagram, and the community page here on Facebook an ingredient list. Let's say pasta carbonara, pasta, onion, garlic, parsley, cheese, eggs. You need a pot of boiling water, knife, bowl, whatever. It's going to take 20 minutes to make. And it's a free cooking class, single subject, live stream. And I'm thinking about maybe doing that on Mondays. So live stream Mondays, Monday meals with Chef Mark. I don't know. And that would be something I would do every week, kind of at the same time, maybe 5 o'clock Denver time, so that would be 7 Eastern time. People on the East Coast just eat later. I know because I grew up there. Here in Denver, it's like 8 o'clock. It's bedtime. Back when I lived in the East Coast, I lived in New York, Pittsburgh, Cleveland. I mean, it's 9:30. Oh, we're not going out for another 2 hours. I know that happens here as well, but maybe because I was a younger man when I lived there. But that's still kind of how I feel. The East Coast is just a little bit later of a time zone. Anyways, so yeah, if I was to do these, obviously, if you're tuning in, you'd be responsible for buying the ingredients. But it'd be a cook along, live stream, live feed, answer questions. Do some super chats if somebody throws in a question in the feed. I would be happy to help people out. So, if you looking for a gift for the holiday season, check out my friends over at Uncommon Goods. I'm actually doing some online teaching over there. I've got some classes coming up after DGAC date night and a knife skills class. So really exciting. They actually found me here on YouTube, and just because I was at the time I was maybe only 600 subscribers. I just broke 1,000 I know. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you all. And they reached out to me and said, we really like your style on YouTube. You seem to be match what we're looking for. Would you be interested in doing some teaching for us? I'm like, okay. So I've been doing that. And I've been enjoying that a lot. They're a great company. We got some cool gifts, including these uncommon experiences, which would be a cooking class, flower arrangement, how to paint your dog, cocktail classes, all kinds of good stuff. And I haven't met any of the other instructors because it's all virtual, it's all on Zoom. But I talked to the facilitators who see a lot of classes. They basically tune into the class and they're there to like read off questions and I don't know, just kind of lend a voice to the class. And they tell me that that all the instructors there are really talented, a lot of fun, some super high energy, really get people involved. I try to get people involved too, but be higher energy, but also I want to get through the class on time, and it's a lot. And the date nights are an hour and a half, and it goes fast. I mean, like, boom, she hits me, I go live, and it's like next thing I know, I blink, and I'm like, pile of dishes. Roger, our dog's just looking at me. You gonna feed me? No, buddy, I'm sorry. I love you. You love him. Okay, guys. Well, I don't think I got any live people tuned in this one. I don't know. I mean, I'm sometimes surprised, like, people will click in for a second watch. Oh, Chef Mark said it again. Click out, and it adds up really well. Thanks for subscribing if you have already. If you haven't, click the button. As of this moment, right before I went on, I was at 1,009 subscribers. So what's my new goal? Well, I mean, obviously my new goal is to get as many subscribers as possible. But beyond that, that's such a simple goal. So I'm looking for a new goal. And I think that new goal is to build a live stream cooking community, pardon me, maybe once a month at first. And then if it goes big, then we'll do it once a week. There's a couple other YouTubers I see that have a really nice live stream feed where they cook and people like tune in and stuff. And some really good energy, some good information. Her name is slipping my mind, but African-American woman who has a huge following, and her food looks amazing. And she's a lot of fun, and she's funny and engaging. So I'm like, I think I could do my best to emulate that, and take her example as a good one. So I don't know. Let me know. Okay, everyone. Oh, almost forgot. Check this out. I need to take a few eggs with me tomorrow for my chocolate truffle tart. And you know how it's hard to travel with eggs because they break and stuff like this. So here's what I do. Here's my pro tip. I just take my knife, cut the carton. This card is actually really fighting me. Cut the carton. And then I take this with me. And that protects my eggs. I'm making this look hard. I think my knife is dull. No, I don't think my knife is dull. My knife is dull. You got 6 eggs, a little mini carton. I could cut this down to 3, take a couple of these out. There's all kinds of stuff I can do, but it's my little pro tip. It's the other reason I wanted to come on, show you guys that little job right there. Hopefully that helps you out. All right, I'm out of here. Thanks for tuning in.